What's up, guys? Thanks for joining me for a new video. In this one, I want to talk about something that Amazon merch specifically does a great job of, and that is the gamification of business. You know, it's so easy to spend, I'm speaking on behalf of myself here, but it's so easy to spend like all day playing video games that are fun, that bring a sense of fulfillment, but oftentimes don't really manifest in the form of generating any real wealth, any real world tangible assets that feel like it was actually worthwhile. For instance, my girlfriend would agree that if I spend all day playing video games, I typically have nothing to show for it except for an angry girlfriend at the end of the day. But I want to talk about how we can apply this concept of gamification, similar to how Amazon merch does, to other businesses, not just Amazon merch. So if you're interested, I think this is a really valuable takeaway that can really help us grow and scale our business next year. So let's get started. Real quick, just wanted to remind you that I'm running a weekly print-on-demand giveaway this week, sponsored by Merch Titans Upload Automation, Merch Ninja Research Tools, and All Sunsets Premium Professional Quality Sunset Graphics for you to use in your designs. You can enter for free using the top link in the description. Also, right next to that link, I've got a link to my free 8-day print-on-demand mini course delivered via email if you'd like to take advantage of that. And right next to that link, there's a link to my print-on-demand Facebook community. I'd love to have you there. All right, so back to the topic. I talked about gamification of business, and I spoke specifically to Amazon merch. They do a great job of this. And if you don't know what I mean when I say gamification, let me share the example of how they do it in Amazon merch. Amazon merch does not just let us into the program and upload as many products a day as we choose. They limit us. But they don't limit us the way that, for instance, Redbubble limits us. What's the Redbubble upload limit? It's like 50 or 60 a day. Spreadshirt, 20 a day. What else? I know there's other upload limits. I think TeePublic was like 50 a day or 40 a day, something like that in that range. But Amazon merch doesn't just let us in and put a limitation on us. Instead, they boil it down into bite-sized chunks that are easy to digest as you become more familiar with the landscape and scale up and become more successful. Your ability to use the Merch by Amazon program platform in its entirety, I feel like expands with your proving your understanding of it. You know, like if you're able to make sales in tier 10, what do? They let you into tier 25, right? So you go from being able to upload one shirt a day up to 10 shirts to being able to upload 2 shirts a day up to 25, and then from 25 to 100, 100 to 500. And I really think it's to the benefit of everybody that they do that they don't just let you join and start posting as many shirts as you want per day. Because what I found in my personal experience is that it was hard for me to decide once I got to about tier 500 and I could upload 20 shirts a day. It was hard for me to decide like how to get to that number. And ultimately, I still pushed 20 products a day until I filled my 500 upload slots. Like, I don't know if I missed a day of uploads between tier 25 to 100 to 500, because in my mind, I knew that it didn't make sense to leave an upload slot blank if I had one available for that day. It was better to create a very simple text-based design that takes 2 minutes to design and upload than to leave it blank, because guess what? You can always come back in later and delete those products that haven't sold and then replace them with something better when you have time to create higher quality designs. And just adhering to those basic principles really helped me push my business forward. Like understanding that take 2 minutes, make a text-based design, or, you know, going from tier 25 where I had 2 uploads a day to tier 100 where I think I had 5 uploads a day. I know they've changed the upload limits. They increased them, and then they brought them back down this year when they closed merch and then reopened merch. But it was like, it was always a calculation. Like I never had some baseline apply, copy, paste every single day, the same logic. Like for me, it was, okay, today I have 1 hour to do Amazon merch and I've got 2 uploads in tier 25. So I'd make 2 really good uploads. Or I have 1 hour and now I'm in tier 100. I have 5 uploads to do. Okay, well now I've got less time per upload. Oh, now I'm in tier 500. If I only have an hour and I've got 20 uploads to do, well, I know I better get cranking and tailor my strategy to being able to get all 20 done. Unless I have more time. If I have more time, then adjust accordingly, right? Or less time, adjust accordingly. But it's one of these like fluid situations, and just always being cognizant of what we control, which is how much time we have to dedicate to it, and what's out of our control, which is how many upload slots we have in a day. I think if you're in the low tiers, like, it really matters. And it's this gamification, right? It's this, you keep pushing and you keep uploading and you keep filling your slots because you know that after tier 500, there's another tier up around the corner waiting for you if you make enough sales, tier 1000. And then after tier 1000, you got tier 2000. Another interesting aspect though, and where I really felt that the gamification of Amazon merch made a big difference to me, was going from tier 500 to 1000, because I went from 20 uploads a day to 40 uploads a day. And I knew that I could get 20 done because I'd done it enough times. You know, I started taking a templated approach to designs. With 40 a day, like, I didn't feel like it was feasible for me to get there. You know, like, my mind went to like US states based designs. So all of a sudden I'm doing like, you know, because there's 50 states, so I would just do 40 of them in a day, you know, just to fill the slots. And then all of a sudden when they're full finally, I'm like, all right, start deleting ones I didn't like, replacing with better designs, etc. But I always wanted to fill those slots to occupy as much online real estate as possible. And the gamification really kept me interested. And I think it keeps a lot of people interested as well. Just because it feels like you get a little bit more of the dopamine hit, right? When you get a tier up. A tier up isn't even a sale, but it's probably the biggest dopamine hits that our brain gets from Amazon merch. Unless you're using the Pretty Merch Chrome extension and you keep that cash register sound enabled. But I had to turn that thing off long ago. So let's talk about applying this concept of gamification to other businesses outside of Amazon merch. And it doesn't have to be print on demand, because with print on demand, you know, a lot of these platforms do restrict our ability to upload. But, you know, it is worth noting that Redbubble, for instance, 50 to 60 uploads a day. I do 50 a day. I just batch all of my uploads into 50 a day. But like, it is feasible to hit that number if you choose to, right? Like, I use AutomatePOD to automate the design creation process, and I use Merch Titans or Flying Upload to automate the upload process. And together it becomes very manageable, you know, but it's because I've like iterated through this process enough times and refined it each time I go through it to make it pretty seamless and to help me hit those daily upload numbers. And it's based on work I did in the past, honestly. You know, I finally got to the 100,000 upload mark in Amazon merch in December. So I got there before 2021, which is good. And all those uploads are just sitting there waiting, you know, they're waiting to be queued up for daily uploads. Like I said, 50 a day. But we can literally apply this to any business, any venture we're taking on in life. This is what I want to talk about, you know, in theory, but also in practice. Like, I always want things to be practical and be able to execute. So suppose you're starting Amazon FBA. Like, I'll relate it to my story. When I first tried to start FBA, it was too much going on at once. Like, it was like a fire hose of information, and it just felt like you could learn any one aspect at any time. And that's what led me to pay somebody $2,500 to coach me through it, because he had basically laid out a practical step by step approach to getting it done. And with that curriculum, it really does put things in perspective. And once you've got the right perspective, when you've got things quantified, you know, like you can write it down, you know what the steps are, then you can do what I did with Amazon merch, like I referred to. Depending on what tier I was in and how many daily upload slots I had available and how much time I had available, you can do the math and figure out like how to approach it. And I really think that you can accomplish almost anything within reason if you're just respectful of what's true, right? Like, how much time in a day do you have? How much effort is really involved in accomplishing the end goal? Can you quantify it and boil it down into the fundamentals? I mean, this is honestly something that, like, me learning how to program kind of shifted the way my brain worked, because it made me really respect fundamentals of anything in life. It's like, boil things down to the most basic building blocks, understand those, and then you can kind of conceptually rebuild anything. I really believe it's how people like Elon Musk are able to do so much innovating, because you just figure out what's possible at the fundamental level. You ask the right questions, like, well, can we innovate there and improve the cost or improve the efficiency, improve battery life? Okay, then what's next? How much is it going to cost? Then you go solve the money problem, you know, but you boil things down into manageable problems, and then you just attack them. You chip away day by day by day by day by day. Like, you know what's crazy? If I had like my girlfriend here or like my family, my friends, before I sold my first product on Amazon FBA, ask any of them. Like, I was already a successful FBA seller in my mind because I knew I wasn't going to quit till I was successful. So I'd already made the decision. And like, I walked around as if I had already achieved that. And then I applied the same thing to Amazon merch. Like when I was in tier like 100 on Amazon merch, man, I wish I could just bring on a couple of my friends and just have them tell you what I would tell them. Like, I get excited talking about potential when I see it. And, you know, for me, like I said, I just make a decision like, all right, I'm going to execute and I'm going to scale. And that's that. I'm going to see how far I can take this. And I just, you know, if you can just get that sort of excitement and really not sabotage your own business, you know what I mean? Just show up every day, put in a little bit of work. If it's a day where you have 10 minutes, then do a task that takes 10 minutes. Don't do an hour-long task and think you're going to do 10 minutes worth. I don't like that approach. Like, if I have, and you get where I'm going with this. I don't want to go on too many tangents. The video will go on too long, you know, but I'm always like, I'm willing to have a day of getting nothing done if I only have 10 minutes and the tasks are going to take an hour. I don't want to half-ass anything, or I don't want to start something and not finish. Like, to me, at least the way my brain works, I like to dive in, get in there. Depending on what the task is, maybe I'll be watching some YouTube on the monitor above me. If it's a really hard mental task, if it's programming or something, put on some music, whatever. Just make it work for you, guys. Like, in 2021, I know some people watching this out of necessity need to create some other sources of income. And some of you guys just want to feel that fulfillment that comes with running a successful online business, regardless of why you're in it. Like, or maybe you're just doing it for fun on the side, whatever. I want you to be successful. You know what I mean? And I want you to want to be successful. It's one thing to want the things that come with success. It's another to chase the fulfillment that it brings to set out to achieve something and get there and do it and then surpass your expectations. I want that for everybody because I've felt it myself, and it's a gift that I give to myself, but I don't wait until the end to feel like I've achieved it. Like, I decide up front that I'm going to do it, quantify things, boil them down into steps that can be achieved on a daily basis, and then just show up and chip away day by day by day by day by day. You know, that's really what I was trying to say here. I probably did a long-winded way of saying it. I do get a little bit passionate about it. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any other tips. For instance, like, are you a believer in the law of attraction? You know, I don't want to make this video about the law of attraction, but let me know if that's something that you believe in, that you've applied in your life. Like, I didn't talk much about it in this video because I'm always like more of that quantifiable, practical person, but I also do believe in the law of attraction because I think your brain can be thinking of anything at any time. And really at its core, what is the law of attraction saying? It's saying, again, I love that word, fundamental. At a fundamental level, what is it really implying? It's implying that if you think about something, if you let something that's important to you occupy your headspace, that maybe the universe will give it to you. Well, let me just say, whether it's the universe giving it to you or you going and taking it, I'll bet you anything you're more likely to achieve something if you're thinking about it than if you're not thinking about it. And the law of attraction is helping you occupy your headspace with something that you want, as opposed to anything else in the world that you could have been thinking about at that exact time. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. I had some fun making it, and you know, I get passionate about this stuff. Just a quick reminder, I do have that full print on demand course. Print on demand is very popular. This was a huge year for print on demand. My students have been doing great. A lot of positive reviews on the course. I'm constantly expanding it. I'm about to re-record most of it for 2021 to make sure it's all up to date. So you can check that out. Link in the description. Also, I have my first team. I don't want to say employee, but I have somebody on my team that is basically my understudy, and he is able to jump on the phone with you and figure out if you're a good fit for the program. So if you're interested, I'll put a link right there at the top of the description, and you can put some time on his calendar and jump on the phone with him and ask any questions that you might have if you're interested but aren't 100% sure. All right, and that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Do me a favor, hit that like button and that subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow.